Turn one soul ring.
If you could get or if like reincarnation was a thing, and you got reincarnated as anything, you can come back as any animal. It can't be a person. It has to be like an animal that exists today. You can't pick a dodo or something. What would it be?
Tiger.
Okay, like a tiger at a zoo or just like a wild tiger?
Wild tiger.
Really?
Being in a fucking zoo? Why?
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but like, you know, they take care of you. You live longer.
Sure.
I think I would want to come back as a beloved house cat. So, interesting that we both pick cat. But yeah, I'd want to be like a house cat.
Yeah.
Not even an outside cat either. I don't want to go outside.
House cat would probably be my second pick because it's just like it's like I know it's a lavish life, obviously. Mm-hmm. But like the weird thing to think of is like when you're reincarnated, you don't remember anything as your previous life. Right?
I think that would be my stipulation. Yeah, I don't want to be like a man stuck in a cat's body.
Yeah. So you wouldn't know anything. You're just like, oh yeah, this is the life. So then like living out in the wild, you know, you're just like used to it. But like tigers are like they have no downside. Like they're one of the
there's no
biggest,
predators.
They're one of the top end predators.
Yeah, except man.
But
yeah, the apex predator.
They're protected in some way from that because they're endangered species.
Oh yeah. So maybe I should have picked panda.
Panda's really dumb though.
Yeah, but you know, if you only have the concept of intelligence that you have, right?
Yeah.
So you're not like missing anything. You're just a dumb panda. Are they dumb? How do you know that?
Yeah, actually, their species is endangered because they don't even want to mate.
Oh, so is it a lot of? Does it come from mating in a very small gene pool?
I don't know.
My voice is like crackling. Jesus.
I don't know the heavy specifics about that one.
Mm-hmm. It's not like the royal family.
No, but I know that little tidbit.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just gonna stick with beloved house cat. That's my stipulation. It's got to be beloved. I don't want to like live with people that aren't gonna, love me.
Yeah, but yeah, we both pick cat.
All right. Well, let's get to the show. Welcome, listeners. This is Turn One Soul Ring. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Eric.
And this is the podcast where we talk about all things Magic the Gathering. Today on the show, we're going to be continuing our Color Pie series with the color everyone loves to hate, blue. Yeah, we're doing this in Wooburg order in case you didn't notice.
Yeah. I love blue, and it's always fun to hate blue.
I love blue too. We're both blue players
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we're not ashamed of it.
No.
It's the cards are legal. It's not like we're playing Ancestral Recall and Commander.
Exactly.
We're playing by the rules, right?
There's those people out there that just hate blue, like Sean Day 9 Plot.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he always goes on record of like, oh, what are you doing? Look at your top card, put card back. You're not going to let me play spells. Like, I love the guy, by the way. He's great.
Oh, he is. Yeah. No, he's totally he's awesome. But yeah, I think what I want to get out of this series, and hopefully what we can give the listeners in some way, is that each color has something to offer.
Yeah.
Right. Even like what you just described, you don't have to take that route when it comes to blue.
You don't have to. No.
So you
just draw a bunch of cards.
Yeah, you can just straight up draw cards. Yeah. And what's better than drawing cards?
What is better?
It feels so good. We're not going to do Magic news because we're sort of trying to bank a few episodes here because I've got some busy weeks coming up. So we don't want to give you news that's, a few...
Too old.
It's old news. It's not news anymore.
Yeah, it's just information.
Mm-hmm. Which is what we're already doing, so let's just get to that. So the color system, or the color pie, is one of the game's most fundamental and iconic elements. It gives the game diversity in its cards, effects, and playstyles, while preventing any one deck from having every tool in the game. Ironically, though, when the game first started, blue kind of did have every tool in the game.
Yeah.
Like blue could deal direct damage. You had like Psionic Blast or those blue pingers that could deal damage.
Direct damage and stuff.
Yeah. So that was a bit of a problem.
Color, and they had to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, just from the perspective that blue, like 3 of the Power 9 cards are blue, which is Time Walk, Ancestral Recall, and... what was the other one? I can't believe I don't know the Power 9.
Yeah, right.
I mean, part of it's like super easy because just the Moxen and
5 Mox and the Lotus.
The Lotus.
Yeah.
I think Time Twister's one of them, right? That's an artifact? Not Time Twister, Time Vault.
Well, we just said Time Walk, Ancestral Recall, Time Twister.
Isn't Time Twister from Urza's? No, that's Time Spiral. Jeez, couple of Magic pros here.
Yeah, Time Twister.
Okay, which is a blue card?
Each player shuffles his or her hand and graveyard into his or her library, then draws 7 cards.
That's the Power 9.
Yep.
How much does it cost to cast?
2 of anything and a blue.
Oh my god, that's good. Okay.
Pretty good, yeah.
So, R&D kind of had to make some changes because blue was a bit out of control. And these days, blue has its own set of clear strengths and weaknesses. And we'll be going over all those in this episode. Before we get to those, though, we're going to talk a bit about blue's flavor in the color pie.
Ooh, what does that taste like in pie?
It's probably like blueberry.
Blueberry.
So we all know that blue mana is drawn from islands. Unless you never played the game before, which hopefully we're getting you into the game right now. If you're just like, hey, I'm listening to podcasts.
Start with this one.
Blue embodies the concepts of logic and technology and seeks perfection through that knowledge. On the color pie, blue is allied with white and black and is the enemy of red and green. So we don't have a magic card with us, but if you look at the back of a magic card, I mean, there's a magic card in the house somewhere. Yeah. But if you look at a magic card, the colors are arranged in such a way that the cards that are directly adjacent to any particular color are their allied colors, and the cards that are not adjacent or like across from those colors are their enemy colors. So that's how you know allied and enemy color pairs.
Yeah, so if you ever want to know, you can always just like look at that and use that to... I don't remember those always.
The color pairs?
No, the allies and enemies. I know all the pairs, but I don't know the allies and enemies.
Oh, you don't know which is which?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I just do like a land cycle in your head, like just do like the shock lands, and I guess I think it's always easy for me to remember because I've been playing for a lot longer, and back when I started playing, there weren't enemy colors. Okay. It was all allied colors, like the original Onslaught fetch lands, allied. There was not they didn't support enemy colors, and in a lot of land cycles have not even been finished. Like they just finished the talismans in Modern Horizons.
Finally.
Right? And that was back in like Mirrodin. That was like 2003 or something. And I guess we had the Pain lands. They always had the full set of colors, but they just haven't had as much support. So that's why it's, I think, easier for me to remember because there's just way fewer cards, right? Like it'd be great if they finished those Amonkhet lands that are searchable with the cycling.
The cycling ones?
They just did, or the Battle for Zendikar lands. Well, we're going back to Zendikar, and they're not going to do fetch lands, so they might as well do those for us,
right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because even the those like I guess people call them like the 2 to tango. You like 2 basics out. Those are only allied.
Those are the battle for Zendikar lands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just call them the battle lands.
Battle lands, yeah.
But yeah, 2 to tango is good. I like that. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I actually like that a little bit better. So, like we said earlier, blue was once the dominant color, and R&D was forced to change its approach to the color in order to bring it into line with the strengths of the other colors. Blue's philosophy, like that of each color, is determined by its worldview. To blue, the world is opportunity. Blue is characterized by the desire to know the world's secrets and to make those possibilities real. To blue, the world is a blank slate. This worldview is contrasted by green's belief that one's life is predetermined, say by natural ability as an example. Blue has the ability to master the blank slate. Master of possibility, master of essence is exactly what blue pursues. This is why blue prizes knowledge above all else. With knowledge, one can unlock great possibilities and can change for the better. With all knowledge, omniscience, that's a rough card.
Hey.
One can make oneself perfect.
Also, like, the great... what's his last name? Ben
Brode from Hearthstone?
No. Peter Parker's uncle.
Oh,
with great power.
Ben May.
Yeah.
No. Was it Ben Parker? Did they have the same?
Is it just Ben Parker? Oh, my Marvel is. Ugh.
Sorry, guys.
Don't listen to this part.
And I'm a fan. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's the bad
I'm
part.
a fan. Let's just say it's Ben Parker.
Yeah.
Because it's his... Anyways, what were you going to say?
With great power comes great responsibility.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
In line with Blue.
The most popular recurring theme in Blue are illusion over reality, nurture over nature, thought over action, reason over passion, and future over past or present. Blue disagrees with Green about the nature of change and that Blue is obligated to shape the universe. Green sees artificial changes as an affront to nature and highly presumptuous. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Blue sees Green's resistance as immovable and non-progressive. This appears mechanically in the game. Blue tends to construct complicated board positions and use interesting effects from non-living sources, while Green tries to destroy those complications and substitute more basic primal living creatures.
We see that obviously with like the board states and stuff that are created from the games. Green always has the big powerful creatures out there. Yeah.
Naturalize as a card and also symbolically what it's doing, right? Return to nature. Back to nature, destroy all enchantments, right?
Yeah, everything comes from nature and everything, and Blue is just
it
like
will return
we can go buy these things to do other stuff.
to better ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue is also the enemy color of red. Blue is opposed to red because blue focuses on thinking and strategy, while red focuses on freedom of action. Blue wants the world to be full of thought and controlled by logic, free from emotions, while red prizes personal freedom and passion. Blue sees emotion and personal freedom as a hazard to the controlled world it wants, and plans to destroy red before it causes permanent damage.
That's what makes red so chaotic.
Red's got the best chaos cards.
Yeah.
Not that I think chaos cards are particularly good. But they do what they do very well.
Yes.
All these details represent control in one form or another, which is what a lot of us think of when we think of blue, like Counterspell.
Counterspell's a great card.
I think that's sort of like the epitome of control.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I want to cast a spell.
No.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's get down to some in-game effects and abilities that blue is known for.
Sure. All right, so blue is, of course, as we were saying before in this episode, famous for its card drawing and countering abilities. Blue also has the most flying creatures in the game, along with white having a good amount as well, since they have angels.
Didn't actually know that before I looked this up. But I thought white had the most. But
It's interesting because they have angels and stuff and like all the birds and everything, right? But you're like, blue has a lot of flying.
Blue has a lot of birds. Like blue has a lot of drakes. Blue has a lot of like a fair amount of dragons. But yeah, I was actually surprised by that one.
Yeah. A few of the evergreen keywords that blue is associated with, as well as the colors those keywords are associated with, are flash, shared with black and green. We have flying, which was shared with white and also black. And then hexproof, which is shared with green. Hexproof is great.
Hexproof is so good. And yeah, now that Shroud is no longer a evergreen ability, it's just going to be hexproof.
Hexproof, yeah. Which is it's a better ability.
It is a better ability.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Why don't we get into some of the mechanics here with blue?
So yeah, we already talked about card drawing, but there are also variants of card draw.
Yeah. Even though like card draw can be on the card, you can draw multiple cards unconditionally just with like paying more mana. So you have like Blue Sun Zenith. Mm-hmm. Or just like
Brain Geyser.
Yeah.
Or Stroke of Genius. Yeah.
Pull from Tomorrow.
Right. Blue is like the only color where we're oftentimes drawing one card for one mana. Mm-hmm. And most other colors don't allow us to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or all other colors don't allow us to do that.
Don't do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To contrast that with green, which has conditional card drawing, and then also black, which requires like a sacrifice. They do life a lot of the time.
Like
Sign in Blood.
Sign in Blood is probably the most well-known one. And green, it's usually based on the number of creatures you have or the power of a target creature.
Yeah.
Like
draw cards equal to the greatest power.
Right. Yeah, that's like Rishkar's Expertise.
Yeah.
And then like Shamanic Revelations or Collective Unconscious is the number of creatures you control.
Yeah.
Which can be bad if you don't have any creatures.
That's the tough part. Since blue can draw cards at any time, regardless of its board position, this allows it to recover from any game situation if given the proper time. Provided, obviously, you do have the answer in your library somewhere. This is representing blue's self-fulfilling belief that every problem has a solution. With the card drawing effect that blue has access to, there are similar effects such as scry and looting.
Right, and scry like for those of us that don't know, scry is look at the top card of your library, and you can put it back, or you can put it on the bottom. Mm-hmm. And for instances of that where it's scry 2, 3, you can look at that many cards and then put, scry 2, you can leave one on top and put one on bottom, or...
And a lot of the time people will account like scrying as like 0.5 card
Right,
value.
half a card.
Half
draw.
a card, yeah. So if something has like scry, like Tamio's Epiphany, scry 4, draw 2.
That's a really good card.
Yeah.
It's a good limited card.
It's a good limited card.
For sure. And looting is sort of not the opposite of rummaging, but it's like a better version of rummaging because you draw a card, then you discard a card. Rummaging is discard a card, draw a card.
Yeah, so you just have more information before you discard your card.
That's why faithless looting is faithless looting.
Exactly. Blue has the ability to counter spells, which entirely prevents their effects. As we saw with counterspell before, it's like you cast a spell. No.
Yeah, that's why the Eldrazi are so powerful, because you have a cast trigger.
Yeah, so if we're casting a spell that says, like, when you cast this, you do an action, that's going to happen even if your spell is countered, because it says it's when you cast it. Mm-hmm. So those are really powerful abilities.
And, I mean, there are spells that say can't be countered, uncounterable, but there are spells like Unsubstantiate, which exile a spell from the stack. Mm-hmm. Or exile target spell.
Yeah.
And when it's on the stack, it's always a spell. Whatever it turns into after that is another story.
Correct, yeah.
Which doesn't see a lot of play. Like, I think cards like that are kind of underrated. Even Venser, Shaper Savant, he does the same thing. I think cards like that are very powerful because, Supreme Verdict is a card that's running around Commander like crazy. Like, if you're in the colors, you run Supreme Verdict.
You're probably going to run a Supreme Verdict, yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
And I think people always put the bounce effects down because it's like, well, it goes in their hand, they can still just cast it again, right? So,
yeah, and the thing is, like, you can, I think it's all about the strategy you're using, and if you're just buying yourself one more turn, if that's all you need, then
at that point it can be worth it.
It might as well be a counterspell.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. So counterspells can be seen as the prevention of chaotic action. Blue uses its logic to deny others the ability to express ideas that aren't helpful, in Blue's opinion. Spells which counter activated or triggered abilities also exist, and are just as commonly assigned to Blue. However, they are not commonly known by any one name, except possibly Stifle, a card which, though not the first of its kind, was very high profile due to the relevance of triggered abilities in the standard environments of its time.
Scourge, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't really playing then, but yeah, Stifle's a good card. I mean, like, I think if I was going to run, like, I think Disallow is kind of a better card in Commander because you have that flexibility, where Stifle is only 1 blue mana, but it's probably pretty satisfying to stifle somebody's fetch land.
Yeah, right? You're like, ha.
That might be a fun modern deck to build, just to mess with people, right? Like, just like a Stifle effect deck.
Yeah,
but you'd have to have obviously other things in it just besides doing that. But there are so many fetch lands in the format
running around.
So,
yeah.
But
also, if somebody like goes to ultimate their Planeswalker, you're like,
nope,
don't get that all. You just killed your Planeswalker for no reason.
For sure, yeah, that'd be fun. Another signature mechanic of Blue is stealing, which takes the form of gaining control of cards, or in some abstract way, effects. It also plays into Blue's talent for subterfuge and deception. Recall the ideal of Blue is for everything to be known well enough to be controlled.
Mm-hmm. There's Blatant Thievery is a great commander card in the stealing regards.
Definitely underplayed, but
yeah.
The thing about cards like that, where you have fewer and fewer opponents, or if you have fewer and fewer opponents, it's sort of like diminishing returns. It's sort of like Oathsworn Knight,
Yeah.
Right? It just gets a little bit worse every time.
Over time. But it's like if we have like 3 opponents, 7 mana, I get to steal, a
Permanents.
permanent
There's
from
3 permanents.
any permanent from each player. That's really sweet.
That is good.
But now if we're down to just me versus the other person, 7 mana to take one of their permanents isn't.
That's why I kind of like if you didn't have to take 1 permanent from each player, if you
just
could
take
choose
3 permanents.
or like yeah,
So
like
that's 3 lands only. You're
right.
like,
I mean, it sounds like that
it's
player's
like-
already not doing well, so maybe don't mess with them. But if you like, that's sort of why I soured towards Windgrace's Judgment, because you have to hit 1 permanent from each opponent.
yeah.
But you look at a card like Decimate. Decimate is an amazing card because, well, not only do you not have to fulfill every target now, but also you can just target 1 person. Like I could take out Eric's enchantment, artifact, land, and creature, and he's
Coming
hobbled.
for you.
Well, he's coming for me now, but he's hobbled, so it's going to take him like at least a couple turns to get back at me.
Yeah.
I hope. But yeah, Blatant Thievery is definitely a very, very good card. And yeah, the blue's kind of thievery has its own flavor, for while red and black also steal, blue is the strongest magic for permanently commandeering permanents. Like the card Commandeer.
See what you did there?
Yeah, thanks. Blue's cards can imitate other cards or aspects of other cards. A game term that collects a wide range of these is copy, but mimicry, as used here, should be understood to include cards like Shape Stealer, which does not, strictly speaking, copy anything. That's the great thing about Blue's like clone effects. You don't target a creature, so if it has Hexproof or Shroud,
You can still have it come into the battlefield as a copy of.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it must have just been the Wild West when before they changed the legend rule. So if you had a
yeah.
legend and we were playing the same commander or just a legendary creature, I just copy it.
They're both gone.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing about that as well is that because you're not targeting, if someone tries to like fizzle you taking something else out, you still get to choose something else that's on the battlefield.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because you can't be like, because it's entering the battlefield of. So like you cast it.
So if I sacrifice that creature in response?
Because there's no response to it though, right?
Right.
Because it's when it enters, you're choosing
It's
when
already-
it's entering.
It's already
So it's already
done.
resolved. It's happening. So
Yeah, I didn't know that's that. Well, and like that, that makes sense.
yeah, after you kind of like take, it's like this is how the stack works. So like I'm casting this spell, but I don't have to choose a target till it's entering. Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. Interesting. Blue is the color of shapeshifting. Nearly all shapeshifters and other cards that change their creature type or other attributes are blue. And what I mean there is I'm not talking about the shapeshifter creature type.
Yeah.
Like with Changeling, I'm just talking about cards that you like Vesuvian shapeshifter kind of thing.
Or that shit.
So don't get mad.
That Ixalan enchantment.
Search for Azcanta. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what you're talking about.
The ones that changes all your creatures to a certain creature type.
Oh, Arcane.
Arcane adaptation.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
one. There's
that's
also
sweet.
there's also a black version of that back in probably like Onslaught or something.
Oh, wow.
But it's 5 mana. It's 4 or 5 mana. It's
Okay.
like 2 and 2 black or something.
Yeah, because adaptation's 3. Pretty good.
Yeah, just 1 blue. Yeah, like
Yeah.
2 and 1 blue. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an awesome card. That's power creep for you. Though the morph ability occurs in all colors, it occurs in blue more than any other color. An extension of that are spells such as Pongify and Curse of the Swine. Another card like Pongify is, what's that one? Rapid Hybridization.
Yeah.
That replace creatures on the battlefield with creature tokens of a given type, power and toughness.
Also, Curse of the Swine is such a good card.
It really is, and it's kind of underplayed.
Yeah.
I think. Because I really understand why it's underplayed, because you want to just remove permanents.
Right? You just want to like pay 4 mana, boom, done.
They're gone.
Yeah.
But that's not always how things work.
Yeah.
But if you're taking creatures that have static or activated abilities and have a high power toughness and turn them into pigs,
That's a huge
that's
win.
really good. Like they still
Yeah.
have the creatures, but it's not.
It's nothing. The other really awesome thing is that also comparing Curse of the Swine to a board wipe is that you now have a choice over what's happening.
You
So-
get to choose. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
any number of target creatures.
So you may have to pay more mana into this spell, but then you're keeping your whole board for sure. And then it's also kind of a you may save a creature that a certain player likes to be more
Yeah, that could be a good political move.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a good card.
It's a really good card. Blue has a minor theme of reducing the power of creatures using spells, like Hydro Surge. Flavor-wise, this represents a hex causing weariness or dizziness. Unlike black, blue does not affect the toughness of creatures, which is something I didn't know.
Yeah, but you always see it. It is just the power. Yeah.
Power reduction was originally in the black and green slices of the color pie, but has shifted to blue in recent years. Blue has never been very good about destroying permanents, but blue can return permanents to their owner's hands. And we were talking a little bit about this, and like Pongify and Rapid Hybridization does destroy permanents, but
Turns them into something else.
turns them into something else, and
Yeah.
puts them in the graveyard. But there's also Reality Shift, which is I think another, like, I don't know of another blue card that does what Reality Shift does in like with that efficiency, 2 mana. And you know, if you're doing that to someone, they probably have about a 30 to 35% chance that they're going to get a land off of that, and then it's just a 2/2.
Yeah, that's all it is forever.
I think that's another card that's kind of underplayed, and it's an uncommon from Fate Reforged, so it's not very expensive. It's probably like in the $2 range, but it just got reprinted in, I think, your deck, right? Your Commander deck for 2019. If it's in any of them, it's probably in that one. Or you know what? No, it's probably in Riley's.
Yeah, because I don't have
they
Reality
wouldn't,
Shift.
They wouldn't put it in a deck that's like designed to play against a morph deck because then they can just flip it over.
Exactly. So it is totally in his deck.
Yeah, I think it is. I know I've seen it played.
Yeah. But yeah, like we obviously see that like very low mana cost exiling is very good, and white has a lot of that. But giving blue that with the 2 mana is really really powerful card.
Yeah, great card. And amazing. I love the art on the card. Any card that has like an orb kind of art, I love it.
Just like them orbs.
I really do. I don't know why. I just like I like circles.
Yeah,
you know,
circles are great.
I don't like sharp edges.
Yeah,
that's why I like going to IKEA. No, they do have some sharp edges at IKEA. So, we were talking about bouncing permanents, right? And like again, I think it's an underrated effect. Like evacuate. I mean, obviously, we all know about Cyclonic Rift.
Right? Yeah, Cyclonic Rift's the big one, and that one's definitely not underplayed.
No, it's not underplayed. It might be so not underplayed that it might get banned.
I hope not.
Well,
we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I have a feeling it might get banned sometime in 2020, but we'll see. If you're worried about it, sell your copies. I'm not trying to like play the market, but it's still good in modern.
That playset.
It's still good in modern. You could do like mono blue.
Mono blue Tron is a thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Definitely. On the surface, this is mostly a delay tactic, undoing the opponent's actions to set them back, giving oneself more time to stabilize or win the game. In a subtle way, observing whether and how one's opponent replays the card can give information about the opponent's game position. So, you know, playing cards, how they replay cards can give you an idea of...
Yeah, because you know they have that card now, so...
Mm-hmm. But since these spells can be and often are used on one's own permanents, say to protect them from combat, the interpretation of the prototypical bounce spell is unclear. In addition, blue can return its own permanents to its hand to either rescue them or for some other beneficial purpose.
It's really great because if someone's like targeting your creature with removal, you can just bounce it. And it saves it for you to play it again.
Especially if you can bounce it with an activated ability, because then they just spent a card and you didn't.
Yes.
Like a Miss Meadow Witch kind of thing.
Ooh, yeah.
Even if it's not going back to your hand, but you're still getting that ETB.
Yes.
You know?
That's the max value.
Like Brago, when you can just... my Brago deck does have a lot of interactions like that, where I can do that. It's not just based on combat damage, because if I don't have access to Brago, then I need the deck to still work.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there is a lot of Miss Meadow Witching going on, and that is a colon effect, as I think we've come to say on the show. Mm-hmm. So you can just keep doing it. What a great card, huh? Miss Meadow Witch and a Kithkin. So it's got that pale look
Kithkin.
going on. Yeah. Blue has cards which can cause some permanents to become tapped or untapped. Usually both options are present on a card, although some only untap permanents and some only tap permanents. Some effects not only tap a permanent, but prevent it from being untapped in subsequent untap steps. These are usually flavored as encasing a permanent in a block of ice. And we usually see that or polymorph effects in a limited card pool.
Yeah, for
as an
sure.
aura.
Yeah, there's a lot of auras as well.
That's blue's removal in limited.
One of my more favorite art styles is claustrophobia.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks so creepy. But yeah, one of anything in 2 blue, just tap target permanent, can't untap. Blue gets that effect a lot in the sets, just different. Like,
or it doesn't untap until the next end step, or like opponents, like that player's next end step. So you can get in for damage, or so you can protect yourself from damage.
Yeah, like the Frost Links we just had in M20.
Exactly.
That's a great example.
Yeah. Untapping a permanent gives it an extra use. For creatures, it means the ability to block. Tapping a permanent takes away its power, preventing creatures in particular from engaging in combat of any kind. These effects allow blue to win subtle advantages caused either by the surprise of the changes or, in the case of cards like Puppeteer, the versatility and repeatability of the effect.
A lot of the time there, you're just like messing around with things, and it's kind of like blue's way of you have the knowledge to tap what you need, untap what you need.
Yeah, it can get pretty sticky. And I definitely do understand the frustration when you're on the other side of the table from that. I think about playing against Storm players and you're just like, how long is this turn going to take?
Yeah.
Can I just play my Karn and we can
keep going?
It's your turn again, I guess. Blue, interestingly enough, has the best cards for interacting with artifacts. Cards like Ensoul Artifact represents Blue's affinity for technology. Blue also can make the most of instants and sorceries, such as through Battlefield Thaumaturge, and does have more specialized creatures like Illusory Angel. A minor theme that has been present in Blue since Alpha is its time manipulation. This is definitely, I would say, a very salty effect in game. People get very salty about this. Not as salty as like Stacks or Chaos, but it's
still
up there.
Pretty salty, yeah.
So we talked about the Power 9 a little bit earlier, but Time Walk is one of those cards, which is illegal in Commander, thank goodness. Blue has had the most cards that allow players to take extra turns, like Time Warp or Time Stretch are probably among the most commonly known. But it also contains cards like Time Stop that end turns.
Time Stretch is really sweet, though, because it's 2 extra turns for the 1 card.
Yeah, and it's 10 mana, right?
10 mana. That's fair.
It's a fair rate because Time Warp is 5. And really now with extra turn cards, besides Nexus of Fate, they haven't printed any extra turn card that doesn't get exiled after you cast it.
Yep. And they're like, hey, let's bring that back. Nexus of Fate, nothing wrong with that.
I guess they thought maybe because it's going back into the library, it wouldn't be as bad. Because you can't Snapcaster Mage it because it's not in your graveyard.
Sure.
Or like Archaeomancer it because it's not in your graveyard. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I know you're trying to.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Oh,
I know it's a super broken card, but yeah, they don't really do that anymore because it's so easy. It's so easy in Commander to do like a Time Warp infinite turn combo kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you can just keep getting back. It's 5 mana.
Yeah, so that's why a lot of the cards they do exile, even with like it was just that one because we have sometimes they also have like a crazy stipulation like Karn's Temporal Sundering.
Yeah,
you need a legendary.
Yeah, but you also got to bounce a permanent, non-land permanent.
Yeah,
and then before that, I guess we had Part the Water Veil for BFZ. That one also exiled itself.
Yeah,
and generally they do exile themselves. There's that one from Time Shifted that you can buy it back by sacrificing 3 islands. That's really good for 6 mana. I think it's called Time. It's Time something. I know it's Time something. There's Temporal Manipulation with Miracle.
Yeah, that one's really cool because you can just take an extra turn for 2 mana.
But also that one does exile itself.
It does. Yeah. Yeah, that one you have to pay 7 from your hand, but Miracle for 2 mana, take an extra turn.
Sure, it's 7, not 6. I think it's 4 and 2 blue, but
sure.
Anyways. And moving on to some more of what blue can do in game. Library destruction is an infrequently listed mechanic for blue. This is what we more commonly refer to as milling or mill effects, which comes from the card Millstone. These cards are depicted as causing mental attacks such as hypnosis or amnesia, although some force the interpretation of stress or anxiety such as broken ambitions. What is that card that mills half of target player's library rounded down? It's 5 mana. Is it traumatize?
Yes,
Yeah,
traumatize.
that's a good one.
I was going to say fraying sanity, but that's different. That's the traumatized fraying sanity combo.
That's right.
Yeah.
This mechanic brings the milled player closer to losing condition caused by attempting to draw from an empty library. Though monocolored mill spells are more often blue, like Mind Sculpt, a great many mill spells are blue-black. And I think it's probably more common that people are milling themselves, especially in Commander, to get value out of their graveyard, because milling in Commander isn't the most powerful strategy because you have to mill, a little under 300 cards.
Yeah, like in Modern, mill is still can be a tier deck, but in Commander,
What tier?
I want to say 2.
Because it's Archive Trap, right?
Archive Trap's really good. Because
Yeah,
everyone
it
has
is.
fetch lands.
I used to play it.
Yeah, I got Archive Trapped 3 times in one game, and I was like, oh, on to the next one.
All right, sideboard, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, like I used to run a Fenix Commander deck, and I would do a Fenix Eater of the Dead combo where you'd get to untap your Eater of the Dead and just continuously mill someone. Granted, they have creatures you can exile from their graveyard, and most people had enough creatures that I could just like go nuts.
Keep going. Yeah.
They usually didn't make me go through it,
Yeah.
go through the whole thing, but yeah, not the best, not the most winning strategy, but it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun to see the look on people's faces when their stuff goes to the graveyard, and there's a certain look where you know that they don't have anything in their deck that can get it back.
Yeah.
It's really satisfying.
Like, yes. Sometimes you can also get that random fringe of like you milling that like really good card from their deck.
Or you mill like mill like a Titan, and you're just like, yeah,
Oh shit.
all right, let's keep going. And then it ends in a draw. That's happened to me.
Oh man.
There's a whole section on MTG Wiki about the relationship that blue has with its enemy and allied colors. It is very interesting, but we don't really have time to go into it on this episode. But we could do that in the future at some point.
We may.
We may. So let's talk about some of the blue aligned tribes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we did, it's kind of interesting since we just talked about tribal on our last episode.
Yeah, we did. It's almost like we planned these in advance.
Look at that. So getting into some of the blue tribes, merfolk, as we have always known, are blue's characteristics creature type.
Yeah, each color has a characteristic creature type and an iconic creature type.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sphinxes are blue's iconic creature type.
It's funny that like Wizards isn't one of them. Maybe it was at one time.
Maybe it was, yeah. Because I would think Wizards over Sphinxes.
I guess maybe it's not. Probably Wizards isn't any because it's Magic, and Wizards are probably probably besides humans, they're probably right up there with the most common creature type among all colors.
That's fair. And then like Sphinxes are mainly blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, blue or white, right?
Yeah.
So some of the other like more well-known ones are cephalids, which are kind of, that's like an older creature type, but it was pretty prominent for a while there. And like you can do like, no, I think Empress Galena is a merfolk, but that's a good like steal everything commander. But you could do like a cephalid tribal kind of thing. And like they were pretty big. I think there's a legend from the Odyssey block that you could build around.
Mm-hmm. And then fairies, which are also shared with black, but fairies are very, very, very blue heavy.
Yeah, I think thinking of fairies, it's often blue-black.
Yeah.
There's Vidalcan, which are usually wizards, or I don't know what the other professions of Vidalcan would be. Surgeon, doctor, lawyer. Drakes, we know drakes are definitely predominantly blue. There are also a fair few red drakes,
There are.
like crackling drake.
Yeah, but blue definitely has the most of those.
Yeah.
And then there is a pretty cool creature type that is only in blue. Those are the moon folk.
Nice. Kamigawa.
Yeah, there's a total of 15 in them in all of Magic.
Oh, but they do have Areo, Soratami Ascendant, which is now legal in 1v1 Commander.
Oh, they made it legal now.
They did make it legal. We should play some 1v1 Commander with like the ban list and everything. We should do that up.
Sure.
It's fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
And you know who else this was like a few weeks ago. They also banned Urza High Lord Artificer as a commander.
That's fair.
But they unbanned a bunch of stuff. They unbanned
What about Baral?
Brawl's still banned.
Yeah.
But they unbanned Edric as a commander.
Oh boy.
Isn't that nuts? That's just insane. But he can't.
So good.
He is really good, and because there's MTGO 1v1 commander has a ban list, and then the dual commander thing, which isn't it's not like Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast doesn't really care, I think, about 1v1 commander, but dual commander has its own ban list. So Soul Ring and all the fast mana is banned, like Mana Crypt and Mana Vault. But they did just unban Edric, like I said. They unbanned a few other cards. And then they banned some cards. But Paradox Engine might be legal. I can't remember. Yeah. Anyways, they do have the Moonfolk. I didn't know that that was just they were only blue.
It just kind of dawned on me as we were talking, and I was like, "Hey, what of those Moonfolk?" And I was like, "Hey, they're all blue. Look at that."
Is Tameo a Moonfolk? What is she?
Oh, yeah.
Because I've always wondered what
She is.
she looks like. One, hey?
She is a Moonfolk. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. We should do a Tameo spotlight on an episode.
That'd be cool.
Probably doesn't need to be a whole episode, but
yeah,
it's always interesting.
She has some very interesting story with where she first started, and then it was with because she has a lot to do in the Shadows over Innistrad block there,
right?
And then she has a lot to do with the War of
Or the Spark.
She's just this entity that's kind of watching over things, and
nice.
And I think at one point she's like, maybe I should do something.
Yeah. Well, I bet that happens to you in your
epiphany.
Yeah. I bet that happens when you're a planeswalker. You sort of lose touch with quote unquote regular life.
Yeah, and just the humans are at it again. They're just
all
killing
right,
each
well,
other.
it doesn't affect me. I'm just gonna walk.
Yeah, see,
just gonna go to another another plane. All right, well let's cover some of Blue's class types. So obviously artificers and wizards are very popular blue class types. Artificers are shared with white and red, and wizards are shared with black and red. But like we said, there are wizards across all colors.
All colors, yeah. Ooh, yeah, monks. They're shared with white.
Monk tribal.
Monastery Mentor. It's a great card.
Yeah. Hope you have some. Hope you had some from before they spiked.
Yeah. Or if you had them, sell them.
Yeah, if you don't need them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ninjas shared with black.
Oh, let's do some blue trivia.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I guess you can see this, right? Because we're on the same document. Goodness. Well, we can do the trivia for you guys at home. Okay, so what do you think is the blue spell with the highest converted mana cost? Eric and I know the answer, so we're not going to guess.
Yeah, we can't.
We'll fix it next time. It's Blink Moth Infusion. It's 12 and 2 blue, but it has affinity for artifacts.
Oh.
What do you listener, what do you think the blue creature with the highest toughness is?
Toughness, that's the health. So that's a tricky one. Ludovic's Abomination, which is the flip side of Ludovic's Test Subject.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's why I have another section here where It's the blue creature with the highest power toughness that is castable.
Ah.
And that creature is Jockelhops. No, I'm just kidding. It's Jockle Mortar. Wow, it's only 39 cents. Cold snap. It's 4 and 3 blue for a 12/12 with trample. Comes into play tapped. And when it comes into play, sacrifice it unless you sacrifice 5 lands. This is getting worse. It doesn't untap during your untap step. Whenever you play an island, you may untap Jockle Mortar.
Wow, what a card.
Leviathans generally are not very good cards.
Stormtide Leviathan. That's a good card.
Okay, that's a good card. But like, there's also like original just Leviathan.
Leviathan.
Ooh, that's a bad one. That is a rough card. Unless you can like cheat it into play and then untap it, which there are tons of effects that do that, right? So it's not a big deal.
Is there that, I think it's an Eldrazi. It only costs 4 mana. When it ETBs, you skip your next 2 turns. Is that a Leviathan?
Probably. It sounds like that power level. That sounds like a Leviathan power level for sure. I would say so. So, what do you think the most expensive blue card is currently as of, what is it, September 28th,
Yeah.
2019? What do you think?
Remember, blue is in the Power 9. Yeah.
Eric, you just gave it away. Oh my God.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, you're right. So the most expensive blue card currently is an Alpha Edition Time Walk valued at $10,000 USD.
Whew.
And I imagine that's like a graded, like 9.5 or 10.
Yeah. Gotta be.
PSA. Before we wrap things up today, let's cover some of the best blue commander cards that you might not know about. Well, you might know about them.
That's why I just might.
Yeah, just might. All right, the first one we have here is Muddle the Mixture. So this is just a good old 2 mana for an instant, counter target instant or sorcery spell, but you can transmute it. So transmute is 1 and 2 blue. Discard this card, search your library for a card with the same converted mana cost as this card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Play this only as a sorcery. Transmute is a very underplayed effect because you need a stifle effect to stop it. You can't just counter the ability. I've been in situations where people have countered my transmute, and I have to say, no, you just show me a card in your hand.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So this card can be pretty. The transmute effects are very powerful because it's any card with the same CMC.
So you can just get any 2 CMC card out of your deck.
Yeah, you can go get Strionic Resonator with Muddle Mixture.
Yeah.
Which can be a combo piece. So it's a great counterspell because we're often countering instant or sorcery spells. Board wipes are all sorceries. I think. Are there any that are instants? Very few.
There's one route. If you pay extra mana for it, you can cast as an instant.
But does it say sorcery?
It says sorcery on it still.
So what would this check for?
Sorcery.
Doesn't matter because it's both. But anyways, yeah, this is just a great card. It's great as a counterspell, and it's even better as a tutor.
Yeah.
The next one I have here is Impulse. It's 1 and a blue for an instant. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order.
It's a nice way to sift through your deck.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's not all like gold.
Yeah.
Those are feel bads, but
yeah, which may happen sometimes, but more often than not, you're going to get through a land or 2 and get a card you want to play.
And it's an instant, so you don't have to waste time or mana on your own turn.
Exactly.
Ooh, the next up, one of my favorite board wipes is Evacuation. It's 3 and 2 blue for an instant board wipe. Return all creatures to their owner's hands. This is great. You can do this on the end step before your turn. You get to rebuild first.
Or if someone's doing a big swing at you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this card. I think it's very underplayed.
I also really like the art on this one.
Yeah, the art in the original or the first printing of it, I think, has the Weatherlight on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really cool. It's a chessboard and just like hands taking the pieces. The next card is Merchant Scroll. It's 1 and a blue for a sorcery. Search your library for a blue instant card, reveal that card, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So you can go get a time walk effect, or you can go get a.
I don't think any of those are instant.
Okay, well, what you can do is you can go get a mystical tutor, and then go get a time walk effect.
Yeah, that's the tricky part of this one. It's just an instant. You're like, oh, I have lots of like those kind of cards, and you look through your deck, like, oh, a lot of them are sorcery.
But I still think this is a very good tutor.
Yeah, you can
Very
go
good
get
blue
evacuation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you have a time walk effect in your hand, you can cast it. Okay, next up is Aetherize. It's 3 and a blue for an instant. Return all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. So this is like evacuation if it was just forcing you to deal with combat.
Yeah. So it's only good. Like it only hits one player. Yeah.
But you can cast it. You can save other players with this. The creatures don't have to be coming at you.
Yeah.
Which is always fun, just to have that kind of, just to be like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna let that happen.
It's not happening. You have to rebuild your board. Or if they have a lot of tokens, all the tokens are gone.
Don't forget about tokens, guys.
Yeah.
They're real. Okay, so the not quite the last card here I'm going to talk about, but Commit to Memory. It's a split card from Amonkhet. So it's 3 and a blue for the commit part. For an instant, return target spell or non-land permanent to its owner's library, second from the top. So this is another kind of unsubstantiated effect.
Yeah.
The cost is pretty steep.
It is, but it can still put a card, like it puts a 2 from the top as well. So
Yeah. And then the memory portion is 4 and 2 blue for a sorcery. It has Aftermath, so that means you can only cast it from your graveyard. Each player shuffles his or her hand and graveyard into his or her library, then draws 7 cards. I actually run this in my Unesh deck for the Aftermath part, because often you can just pitch it
yeah,
and then rebuild your library.
that's a good fit. Yeah.
So, just quickly, I wanted to kind of cover all the tutor mages. So, we have like Trinket Mage, Treasure Mage, Trophy Mage. I think there's more. There was a new one from, I don't know. I think there was a new one in Modern Horizons. Maybe that was Treasure Mage.
I think that
Trophy. It was, what was it? But anyways, there's 4 of them now.
Yeah.
Because we got one in like Fifth Dawn. There's one from Mirrored and Besieged. There's one from Modern Horizons. And there was also one from Kaladesh or Aether Revolt.
One of those.
But anyways, they're all great cards. They all search for artifacts. I think Trinket Mage is probably the best one because it's 1 or less. So you can search for artifact lands or 0 mana artifacts, which can be very powerful in Commander. But all those cards are just great.
Yeah, because they just search for an artifact of a certain CMC. So you're going to be grabbing mana rocks, or if you have combo pieces.
Treasure Mage is also quite good because it's 6 CMC or higher.
Yeah.
So you're not, the other 2, you're bound to a certain mana cost.
Yeah, that's true. I should have mentioned. But yeah. Yeah, you have one, the String of Mage is 1 or less, and then you have 2 CMC and then 3 CMC.
Right.
Trophy Mage is the 3 CMC.
Yeah, that's right. And then the Modern Horizons one, which I can't think of the name of,
is the 2 CMC.
2 CMC. Okay, last. Oh man, not the last one at all. Why do I keep saying that?
I don't know.
So this one is Delay. It's 1 and a blue for an instant. Counter target spell. If the spell is countered this way, remove it from the game with 3 time counters on it, and instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. It doesn't. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. And Suspend is at the beginning of each upkeep.
Your upkeep.
Your upkeep. Beginning of your upkeep, you remove a time counter from it. When there are no time counters on it, you cast the card.
Yeah.
So at that point, could you counter it?
Yes.
At that time? Yeah.
It's still being cast.
Okay. Yeah, this is great because it's a 2 mana counter spell. And a lot of times 3 turns is all you need. Maybe 1 turn is all you need.
Yeah. It's also really funny, like, if someone has like a big creature deck and then they go to like Overrun or something, and you're like, delay, and then something happens to their board in between that, and then they cast it off Overrun. Suspend with like nothing.
It's like, dude, that's bad. Next one here is Telling Time. It's 1 and a blue for an instant. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of those cards into your hand, and 1 on top of your library, and 1 on the bottom of your library.
This is cool because then like you still are drawing a card with this one. Then you still got to keep one of them.
Yeah, it does replace itself. Yeah, for sure. And the last one here for real this time is long-term plans. I think I mentioned this on our pet cards episode,
I think so.
but I'll mention it again. It's 2 and a blue for an instant. Search your library for a card, shuffle your library, then put that card third from the top. Instant speed tutors, great.
Always powerful.
Always good.
Especially when it's any card.
And it's any card, you don't have to reveal it. And with blue's ability to draw cards, you can get that card on your turn.
Easily.
So, and even if you have to wait, like how many like shuffle effects targeting opponents do people play? Like not too many.
Not very many at all.
Yeah.
Just
all right.
a few more.
Yeah.
First up, we have the Capsize, which is a really cool card because it's one of anything in 2 blue, and this card has buyback.
Such a broken
Yeah.
mechanic. They're never going to do that again. Where's that on the storm scale?
Yeah, right? So you're just bouncing a permanent.
Yeah, you're bouncing
permanent?
target permanent. Yeah, it's
just
any permanent.
Yeah. And then you buy back for another 3 mana. So 6 mana, you can keep doing this.
With infinite mana, you can bounce everything.
Everything. And it's lands.
Yeah, the fact that it's permanence makes it so powerful.
And if you are in... he's Mizzix of the Ismegas.
Yeah,
Because of the experience counters, those also count towards the buyback.
that's right. It's part of the casting cost.
Yeah, so you can be at a point in the game where you're like 2 blue, just bouncing anything as well. That's
God, Capsize is so good.
so good.
Good thing it was printed as a common. Tempest.
We already talked about Reality Shift this episode, but just to give another mention to that card, it's not seen very often. And
Not as often as it should be, I think.
right, yeah, two mana to exile a creature in blue is really good. Next up, we have Desertion. I really like this card. 3 of anything and 2 blue for a counter spell. So you counter target. Oh yeah, if it's an artifact or a creature card, you actually get the spell you countered. So this is a really cool card because you can counter anything, but you get extra benefit if it's a artifact or creature.
They should make an errata to it. So also if it's a planeswalker.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
Yeah. So after that guy, we do have Dream Fracture. So this is another counter spell. So 1 of anything in 2 blue. To counter target spell, its controller draws a card, and then you draw a card. So this is kind of like a toned down, like
Arcane Denial.
Yeah, like your opponent. This costs more mana than Arcane Denial, but your opponent's drawing one card, not 2.
Yeah. So you're each sort of replacing the card that you spent to not make this happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just both get replaced. The last one wanted to mention here was Spell Twine. This is a fun spell for commander games because you're going to cast, Spell Twine is 5 anything in a blue for sorcery. You exile a target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard, and then you do the same thing with an opponent's graveyard. And then you copy those cards, cast the copies without paying their mana costs, and you have to exile Spell Twine.
Yeah, you don't want to be doing that again.
Yeah.
At least they don't want us to. You do want to do it again.
Yeah. So you get a big spell out of your library or graveyard and a big spell out of someone else's graveyard, and you get to cast them for free. So this is really sweet because then this is a really good card in the sense that also you can get back board wipes and stuff like that. So
Or time walks.
there we go.
Yeah.
Wipe the board and take an extra turn. Yeah.
That's what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that is going to do it for this installment of the Color Pie series. Please let us know if we left anything vital out of explaining the color blue. It's got to be vital. If it's not vital, no, I'm just kidding. You guys can, please let us know anything. I did want to ask you, Eric, what is your favorite blue card? Are you gonna? Is it just Snapcaster Mage?
It is.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is like my favorite Magic card is a blue card. So.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah.
If you would like to get in touch with us and ask us any questions, it's still Turn One Soul Ring, the podcast at gmail.com. And you can find us on Instagram at Turn One Soul Ring _ the podcast. And you can follow me on Instagram at Command Beacon. We are currently doing our October giveaway of a Throne of Eldraine Collector's Booster Pack.
Fancy foils.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. There's like more than one foil in a pack, right?
They're pretty much all foils.
Wow, that's nice. Maybe
like there's like 2 cards that aren't, and they're like the special border stuff.
Maybe I'll get one for myself. Jeez. You can enter that giveaway by following the instructions on the post that we've put up, and we'll be announcing the winner of that giveaway on November 1st, at which point we'll be starting our November giveaway. Probably something cold themed.
Getting cold out there.
It is getting chilly. Well, it's getting chilly up here in Canada.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, I wish it was always chilly, you know what I'm saying? You can find us on iTunes and Google Play and wherever else you listen to podcasts. And give us a rate and review wherever you guys do listen to podcasts.
Yeah, we do like to see feedback from everybody. It's always good information for us to...
Yeah, it is nice. We do always get a lot of good feedback on Instagram. Instagram is a very positive social media platform, I think. I really do enjoy it quite a bit.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, well, we are going to bring this episode to a close. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you guys are having a good pre-release weekend. Go get them, Tigers.
Thanks again for listening, and show me your ATBs.
Turn one soul ring.